Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and we have rumors of Ripple acquisitions in the news today. Now, after Ripple's latest funding round, which I suppose was late 2019, that's going through their Series C, and we found out that the most recent valuation of Ripple was sitting right at a pretty $10 billion. There are a couple of reasons that companies will typically go through that particular funding round. One could be that you're readying for the sale of your company, as in Ripple would sell and be acquired by somebody else. The other typical reason for this is that a company is positioning to go public and have an initial public offering, IPO for short. Now, in this particular case, if I had to speculate, and I don't, but I'm going to, I don't think it's that Ripple's trying to be acquired by another company. I think that it's more so that they're positioning themselves to go public, especially after comments that we saw not too long ago from Brad Garlinghouse stating that they won't be the first blockchain-related company to go public, but they won't be the last. And that's somewhat of a paraphrasing, but pretty darn close actually to what he said. And so right there, we know it's coming. And that's not exactly what they're talking about here. In terms of acquisitions, well, acquisitions, if it's not Ripple getting bought out, then what are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about Ripple purchasing other companies, given their incredible balance sheet position. But before we go any further, if you would please ever so delicately tap the like button, I would definitely appreciate the support. And also, I'm going to make a friendly recommendation, all right? I recommend that you subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. Now, why is that, you might be asking? Well, because if you do, you will become more intelligent and more physically attractive. And in fact, in a video just the other day, there was a testimonial from a Moon Lambo subscriber who said in short order his skin was starting to clear up. And that's the type of thing that will happen. And eventually you'll have if you're a man and you'll have a stronger jawline, things like that. And for those gentlemen out there that perhaps have a receding hairline, by subscribing to the Moon Lambo channel, you will suddenly develop a proceeding hairline. In fact, the hair may become so thick that it could proceed down the forehead too far, in which case I just recommend that you temporarily unsubscribe from the Moon Lambo channel. It'll start receding again, and then once it recedes enough to where it's not on your forehead, because that looks really weird, then you should subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel again. You'll be fine. All right, so let's go ahead and hop in now. This piece titled, Rumors on Ripple Acquisitions Growing Among XRP Investors After Remarks from CEO Brad Garlinghouse, and this comes from dailyhodl.com. A statement dropped by Ripple CEO Bradley Garlinghouse in a recent episode of Ripple Drop is fueling speculation among XRP investors that the payment startup is on the cusp of announcing more acquisitions. And I actually rewatched this episode of the Ripple Drop just before recording this. And it was released in June on the official Ripple YouTube channel, and it was recorded, I think, in April. It could have been late March, but definitely before May. I'm certain of that, because David Schwartz was talking about how the Blockstars podcast was going to be coming out in the future in the beginning part of May, so it was clearly before that. But according to Garlinghouse, Ripple is looking to strategically grow its business amid the current economic climate following a big fundraiser that saw the San Francisco-based firm getting $200 million in Series C funding. And here's a quote. We need to be more prudent about business decisions, but we'll also probably, because of the strengths we're coming from, look at how we strategically grow the business and, look at deals, look at investments, and potential acquisitions in the coming months. And so right there, it's a pretty strong indication that this is something they're considering as far as when we'll get an announcement about something like this going down. Well, look, when it comes to acquiring a business, there can be quite the rigmarole to make this happen, quite the song and dance. And it takes time. So if that's just a point where they were starting to look into something like that as a result of the position that they were currently in as of, I'm guessing it would have been April, then maybe before the year's out you could see something. But some of these deals take a really freaking long time. I've seen business acquisitions take over a year, so it just kind of depends. And not that they can't be done quicker. I'm just saying there's no way to know. I just wouldn't expect them to happen in short order, but it's already been close to half a year at this point anyway, so maybe you'll be hearing something. And what could that be? Well, check this out. The comments from the Ripple chief have investors on the popular XRP-centered forum XRP Chat pondering what's on the table. And this is why, one of the many reasons I love the XRP community. We're just gobbling up every little piece of news and comment that's made from people at Ripple and just trying to make sense of what's going on. And I do love reasonable speculation. I just don't like the crazy hype stuff and the tinfoil hat stuff. There does come a point where I feel like you have officially crossed a line. Like in terms of you are now in Looney Tunes line. Like that can certainly happen, but I do like speculation that's thoughtful and we're just trying to get to the truth. Now, Garlinghouse says the global pandemic is presenting major challenges for all businesses, including the cross-border payments industry, but he remains optimistic that business will thrive. And here's another quote from him. The volatility of the economy creates, some uncertainty for global payments. On one hand, there's no doubt that we live in a global interconnected world. There's a lot of migrant workers, and the pandemic may slow down some of that, but there's no doubt that we'll continue to move money around the world. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And there were other acquisitions, which was cited in XRP chat as well. In fact, so in September of last year, Ripple acquired crypto trading firm Algorithm and the decentralized finance payment startup Logos. It also invested $50 million in MoneyGram, as we all well know, which has resulted in like a 10% stake in that particular remittance firm. And so here you go. Now I'm on XRP chat. And so there are a couple ideas floating around. Okay, so one member of the XRP chat website here, King34 Main, wrote in response to, let me read the little, he's quoting something here. So it was, if they stay private and XRP doesn't make it, you're looking at a bank buyout, I would think, for the software and patents. And to be clear, I don't think that makes any sense. The banks have completely different business models. I don't even think Ripple's going to fail. I certainly don't. I don't think XRP is going to fail. That's, I'm not offering financial advice. I'm just sharing with you my opinion. I am very optimistic for the long term here. But as far as what Ripple's doing, they're a financial technologies company. That's completely different than running a bank. Just want to be clear, a bank would not be a potential buyer. I certainly would not think. That would be outside of their wheelhouse anyway. And then you'd be helping your other competitors too. Like it wouldn't even make any damn sense. But anyway, King34 Main responded and wrote, I don't think that it would ever get to this point, but just to entertain the idea, it would most likely not be a bank buyout. More like a large tech company, i.e. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Facebook, etc. Yeah, and that would be more in line. I don't know that it would be one of them, but there would be some sort of maybe another fintech company that would come along. And again, I don't believe for a second that's going to happen, but if we're talking about it just for hoots and giggles, then there you go. And then he writes, no bank wants to be under subjugation from another bank. This was one of the many issues JP Morgan had when trying to onboard partners to its Ethereum-based permissioned DLT platform Quorum. This was one of the reasons they sold it to Consensus. This is also one of the reasons that having a closed network, so if you're going to try and use a bank coin, which would be centralized for remittances, good luck, because you're not going to get a huge swath of the world to just be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and trust you now, don't worry about my best interest. No, that's not how humans behave. That's not what's going to happen here. Now, somebody named Stir Crazy wrote, assuming XRP isn't involved in this worst case scenario, being under subjugation would really be determined by what pieces are chosen to be preserved, what patents, etc. As one example, Ripple's a network, and it would probably be stripped and reorganized. JP Morgan would never be able to pull off a network of banks called JP Morganet. I agree. And so what that got me thinking about was, it turned me in a little bit of a different direction in terms of acquisitions. What types of businesses additionally would Ripple want to hire? Because it's always a struggle to get the proper talent, to make sure that you're really, going in guns blazing with your business model. And Ripple's endlessly hiring here. And so I just wonder if from the technology side, if they'd buy out other companies, I don't know who they would be necessarily, but just other companies that could complement exactly what Ripple's trying to build out here, just in terms of the actual talent of the team. Because really, that would be a huge selling point. So we're just going to have to sit tight and see what that looks like. Now, before wrapping up the video, I do want to share this as well. The fourth biggest hack in the history of cryptocurrency has just occurred. Here's a piece from Cointelegraph. Not your keys, not Q coins. Red flags ignored. And I'm going to tie this back to something that's happening with XRP in just a moment. So listen up to this. This is important. Back in April of 2020, Cointelegraph took a close look at the Qcoin cryptocurrency exchange, investigating the apparent lack lock of the primary domain name, which was a result of a legal case under the jurisdiction of the High Court of Singapore. We concluded that, quote, in the absence of clarity from any of the individuals mentioned in this article, or from the company itself, users of the KuCoin cryptocurrency exchange will likely want answers on whether they are sending their money to Singapore, the site, I forget how to pronounce that now, nailed it, China, or anywhere else in the world. Now $150 million is missing from KuCoin in what has been described by the exchange as a security incident. Now that's a way to soften the blow. Yeah, you were robbed at gunpoint. Well, it was a security incident. It was definitely, well, you were robbed at gunpoint. Security incident. Okay. And while the directions of the exchange refused to answer our questions 5 months ago and implied that our accurately sourced reporting was untrue, perhaps their customers will hold them to account this time. In March 2020, KuCoin was facing the possibility of a class action lawsuit focused on potentially false and or misleading statements to account holders. And another suit, Chase Williams vs. KuCoin, filed in the Southern District of New York, the exchange was alleged to have engaged in an unlicensed securities offering. In addition to KuCoin, the latter suit named 3 individuals connected with KuCoin, and then they named a few right there. And let me go a little bit further here. I don't want to go through the whole thing, but suffice it to say, there was ultimately a hack, and I believe it was, what's the number here, 150, here we go, $150 million in cryptocurrencies have now been yoinked away. And that's the professional term. They were yoinked away. When the security incident occurred, they were yoinked. And so here's the reason that I want to. Well, I would be happy to mention this anyway, just because it's fascinating and it's big news in the world of crypto. Like, there's no denying that the 4th biggest hack in history just happened, like yesterday. But take a look at this. I'm tying this together. From Crypto Comes, XRP Flare Fork participants can now claim Spark in one click-through Exodus crypto wallet. Now, this is positive. This is good. It's just another partner that's coming on board and says, hey, if you have your XRP on our platform, then we're gonna have the infrastructure in place so that you get your free Spark tokens if you're an XRP holder. That's all good. That is perfectly fine. But I just wanted to issue a message of caution. I personally will not be putting my XRP on any exchange to receive the Spark token, and you don't have to. I'm a private custodying in my cold wallets my XRP, and I just you can claim your Spark tokens that way still. And even if it's a little bit more work, I don't freaking care. I'm not willing to risk what I've been collecting, because I've been hoarding my XRP for damn near 3 years. I'm not willing to introduce an ounce of risk. And I understand it's highly unlikely that at the point when the snapshot is taken on December 12th, that when you have your XRP on there, you can put it on and you take it off real quick. But my gosh, just because something's infinitely unlikely doesn't mean it can't happen. I personally will not introduce one iota of risk to my XRP holdings. That's unnecessary. I'm not going to. I would sooner refuse to take the Spark token. So luckily, I can still claim them without doing that. But I absolutely will not be putting my cryptocurrency on exchange. And so for those of you that want to do it, that's fine, to each their own. It's just a word of caution, especially depending on how long you keep it on exchange. I'm not willing to do it. And that's why it's been interesting to me. Like, I really appreciate how the XRP ecosystem, people in the community have made it clear that to exchanges, hey, we want this. And yeah, of course, you should absolutely be talking about what you want. I understand, and I've even been a proponent for more exchanges coming on board, just because I understand that others that are not me want that. Just because I don't want it doesn't mean that I don't want it for others if they choose that. But just be freaking careful, because you don't have to have your XRP on exchange to claim this, right? And so, like, to all the people doing this, that you're going to make sure you have your XRP on exchange during the snapshot. It's just a word of caution here, because you're having your XRP at unnecessary risk. That's the way that I view it. It's absolutely unnecessary. You don't have to do this. And so if you choose to do it, that's fine. We're all adults here. I'm just sharing with you my humble opinion. It's not like I think you're stupid for doing it. I understand it's not very risky necessarily, but I'm not willing to introduce any additional risk. Zero. And so that's why I'm just sharing with you. For me, I'm not going to be doing this. And so if people are all like me, then none of the cryptocurrency exchanges would care about, making sure that they're offering wallets for Spark tokens. So, Whatever, though. I mean, it can still get dispersed, though, if you just have, like, a Ledger Nano S. Anyway, that's it for this video, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.